Hello everyone, this is Caroline and today is March 13th, 2011. Welcome to this webcast. For those who are new, I recommend that you go back and listen to the first webcast of the year, since we will be continuing on from that webcast, discussing the topic of ascension. But we will also address, of course, the global events that are happening on the earth right now. How could we not? So for those who are not aware or are new to this work, I highly recommend that you go on the website and check out all of the free healing sessions and meditations. But also, I highly recommend that you look into the class that we call Mastering the Human Mind. It is on the university page. Basically, if you're looking for a healing session, you go to the Healing Center. If you're looking for a class, you go to the university page. And you will find the new class, Mastering the Human Mind, that is absolutely transformative. This is not just information that you can just read in books. The type of information that's in there, the type of energy, and the way it is being delivered, meaning through experience, is very, very unique. This course allows you to basically integrate very high frequencies within your cellular makeup, awaken your own divine blueprint, meaning awaken who you really are, your true essence in this human form. It speeds up your awakening. You begin to truly understand the bigger picture. So this is not just a course of information, adding more information. This is truly transformative. You will feel the effects immediately. And this will broaden your perspective, which will help you in your daily life, and especially with everything that is going on these days on the earth. I receive a lot of your emails sometimes about what shall I do about this and what shall I do about that. I've been listening to the webcasts. We're going to address some of this in just a minute because as I mentioned, this year is a very, very different type of year. It's not just the continuation of things that, just another year. This year is the beginning, basically, of the manifestation of physical manifestations. For me, the physical manifestations have been occurring the last few years, but from this year, it's almost like the momentum is much greater. Everything is intensified, and the reason is the Earth grid, that it is a grid system that is all around the Earth plane. The grid system is changing, and there is a new Earth grid that is now in place. And so 2011, since last year, November 2010, but we begin to really feel it from January of 2011, the new grid system is in place to stay. This means that the grid system is the one that allows us to have a 3D experience. So the reason why you have a human material experience is because there is a grid that allows the cosmic information, the cosmic light that comes from the center of the universe and from the center of the galaxy to enter the human frequency, the human configuration in a particular way. And that frequency range that enters the Earth grid is the reason why you have a human experience. If you are on Mars, for example, the cosmic light, the cosmic information would be coming in from the center of the universe, from the galaxy, it would be entering the Martian grid, for example, and you would be having a Martian experience, meaning you would be seeing, hearing, sensing, and feeling an experience that it's not human. It would be Martian, meaning the frequency range of what you see, of what you hear will be different. And so if the Earth grid changes, therefore, you are going to start to see, hear, sense, understand things differently. And what is happening, again, I'm repeating for those who are still new to this work, to go back to the books and to the previous webcast, but this new Earth grid allows the Earth to now move into a new configuration, meaning you will begin to have a different perspective, a different perception, sensory perception. The way you perceive reality, the way you experience reality will be different. It will be more larger, more evolved, more expanded, and of course there is a whole range of differences from the way it has been up until now. But all of this happens very, very, very gradually because your human brain is calibrated, is connected to the grid system. That's why you have a human experience on the Earth, because your human brain has electrical charge, right? And those electrical charges are calibrated, are coherent with the frequency of the Earth grid. So if you change the Earth grid, then the entire electrical system, starting with your physical brain and everything else, your nervous system, of course, will begin to change. You will start to be affected differently, and of course, so will the Earth. And so the significance of this is huge. Of course, on an individual basis, like I just said, you start to feel, see, sense things differently. Of course, it happens very gradually because your brain will not be able to take it if in one day you suddenly open up to another range of frequency. So all of this has been happening gradually the last few years. And now from 2011 on, it is much, much, much more intensified. And it is pretty much again, it's here to stay. The momentum is here to stay. So at the same time as we are having these experiences, so is the Earth. The Earth is a consciousness, is an intelligent being, and has an energy field, has a form of mind channels and mind frequency, just like we do. It has a chemical component, just like we do, just like we have it. And so as this new Earth grid is more and more set into its new position, well, the Earth is now going to be affected. And so in the last webcast, we talked about the new Earth grid affecting our mental state, or how our brain is trying to remain calibrated and remain balanced because of this shifting. Well, at the same time, it is also affecting the Earth. And the way the Earth is being affected is exactly the way you are seeing it now. It is changing its chemistry. The entire ecosystem is changing. And so what happens is the ecosystem is part of the to simplify things, it's kind of, it happens within the core of the planet. And so as the ecosystem is changing, is being upgraded to the next configuration, the chemical elements, what makes up the chemistry of the planet starts to change, and with that it affects the electrical component that make the chemical aspect work. In other words, your nervous system makes your chemistry, works with your chemical system, with your cells, with your hormones, with the protein. If you're very stressed out, you burn certain proteins or certain nutrients and things like that. So your nervous system, your electrical system affects your chemistry. And so in the same way, these two are very correlated. So if we are starting to change the chemistry of the earth, then the electrical system is also being changed. And the result of all of this is movements of the earth itself. So the ecosystem of the planet that is being reconfigured and put into a new place, it happens at the core of the planet. So it's really way under the ocean floors. And so this is now kind of has started a chain reaction since again last November, and especially since the January of this year. This chemistry is changing and moving the earth plates at the level of the ocean floors. I mean, it's deeper than that, but that's where we start to feel it here at the surface of the earth. And so we begin to, on the ocean floors, these movements, the changes, the chemical changes begin to move the ocean floors. Again, I'm simplifying things here. And that begins in the Atlantic Ocean, because that is where, that's where the ecosystem used to be. It's kind of like the umbilical cord of the earth is positioned below the Atlantic, what we call the mid-Atlantic ridge. So it's kind of the line between the Americas and Europe. And so what happens is that I'm sure you've had a chance to look online for how all the tectonic plates are connected. But once that starts, the ecosystem starts to change and move that mid-Atlantic ridge, which in fact, if you look back to old maps of the Earth, you will see that the Americas and the European continent used to be connected. And so the reason why they've separated is because of these changes. They begin exactly there. So this position is very important and has triggered many Earth changes in the past. That is how the physical changes happen. You have continents that are submerged and others that are appearing, over hundreds of thousands of years, of course. But that is how it happens. And so it is happening now. Do you believe that we are now observing the physical changes of the Earth live, basically? And so it starts there, but then the other effects that are more noticeable to us is when this first break that is in the Atlantic Ocean, basically, triggers a movement of the Arctic plate. It goes through the polar region there, and that then pushes the Pacific plate and triggers more noticeable events, such as the one that just happened in Japan. So I explain all this, of course, in the book. So if you have not read the book Divine Plan, you can go and read it again. For those who have read it, may see the evidence of all of this, and you can now see the result of how this is all being orchestrated and how it really works. And so as a human, if you don't you're not looking at all of these details, or you're not seeing the connection of all of this, what happens is suddenly we have an earthquake somewhere in the Pacific or along the lines of California, which everybody's been expecting because it's a typical fault line. But honestly, what's happening now is going to be it's gradual. It's kind of like the earth cannot rearrange itself. The land mass of the earth cannot rearrange itself in one day.